If you learn to manage your mind and control your relationship to social media and all of the constant distractions around us in 2024, you will set yourself off for a much brighter future than those who are unable to harness their attention, to direct their attention in ways that are meaningful and in alignment with what they're trying to do. To illustrate this, I'd like to read you guys a quote from Mastery by Robert Greene. In the future, the great division will be between those who have trained themselves to handle these complexities and those who are overwhelmed by them. Those who can acquire skills and discipline their minds, and those who are irrevocably distracted by all the media around them and can never focus enough to learn. Those who discount this notion will almost certainly be left behind. There will certainly be a divide between the people that are able to direct their attention and those who are lost and get stuck in autopilot in these ways of consumption. The solution is to become mindful of how you use technology and to not allow technology to use you. One of my favorite lines from one of my favorite artists is, "Everything you're taking in should make an even better you." That's Code of the Friend. If you've never heard of him, check him out. But if it isn't serving you, if the content you're taking in isn't serving you, if it's not bringing you closer to the person that you're trying to be, then why watch it? What are you getting out of it? Are you being entertained or distracted, or is your mind just being lulled and distracted from actually dealing with the problems ahead of you? The solutions are simple, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. Change is difficult when you've been programmed for years in a certain way, and so it's going to take time to make meaningful change. But it all starts with daily habits and the small decisions you make throughout your day. And here are the small decisions you can start with to make change that will lead to small wins that, when compounded over time, will give you more clarity, more focus, and ultimately free your mind from the trap of social media. I'll start with the choices that have the smallest impact and end with the habit that will have the most profound effect on your mental health and overall mental abilities. The overlying principle for all of these themes is to create more friction between you and the habits that you want to eliminate, and less friction between you and the habits that you want to cultivate. Tip number 1 is to leave your phone in another room, put it in your backpack, or create as much distance between you and your phone as possible. By creating space between you and your phone, when your mind has the impulse to go check your phone, it's a lot harder. You have to think about it more and want it more if your phone's in the other room to get you to get up and go to your phone than if it's constantly in your pocket or on the desk, where you have instant access to it and you can just pick it up with minimal effort. The next is to set limits on your phone. On iPhone, under your screen time, you can set limits on how long you can be on certain apps. For example, when I was still using an iPhone, I set a 10-minute limit on social media so that I had just enough time to check it for messages and update, and maybe scroll a little bit without getting sucked into doom scrolling, because when that 10 minutes was up, it told me I was locked out. I had to put in a password, and this leads me to the next hack, is to have your friend set the password. If you have a friend that is understanding and is a good friend and is trustworthy, you can have them set the password on your screen limit time, so that in order to override it, you have to reach out to that friend, tell them you need more screen time, have them give you the password, put in the password, and then go. That just creates so much more friction and pretty much shut my mind off to the possibility oh, I'm not going to go through this struggle. I don't really need that much more time. And that really had a profound effect on how I used it. I still don't like the way that I used it in that time, but it definitely did help me have a limit on the negative impact that those things could have on my mind. And step 3, probably the most important and impactful thing that you can do for digital minimalism and for your mental health, is to stop going on your phone while you're in bed. The times in the morning when you wake up and at night before you go to sleep are the times when your brain is most susceptible. The state that your brain is in direct contact it creates a link between your conscious mind and your unconscious mind, making you more susceptible to learning things to impact. And so if you're taking in content that isn't serving you, inspiring you, or helping you grow in that time, you're literally just shoveling junk into your brain and programming yourself into instant gratification when you wake up. And when you wake up and you check it, you're programming yourself throughout the day. And when I was still in the process of changing my habits in regards to screen time, I would find that when I went on my phone in the morning, within the first 10 minutes, it completely changed the way that I was throughout the day. It made me crave things more, not even just my phone, but sugar. It made me way more constantly distracted versus when I took that first 10, 20, 30 minutes in the morning for myself, for my own little routine, whether it's just breathing, meditating, going for a walk, making a cup of coffee and drinking it. I noticed a huge difference in my mental clarity throughout the day because I wasn't constantly distracted. The first thing that I saw and put into my brain that morning wasn't content and wasn't what other people wanted from me. It was always, what do I want for myself? And reminding yourself of that, what do you want for yourself, as regular as possible, is probably one of the most meaningful things when it comes to this, because most people don't want to be on their phone. They don't want to see all this content. What they want is to feel okay with themselves. They want to feel comfortable where they're at. They want to feel okay. And it's unfortunate that so many people find that in distractions, in going online, experiencing life through other people, because they're just not comfortable with their own life where they are at. They're not comfortable spending time in their own mind. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with where we're at as a society, is that nobody's even comfortable with themselves and sitting with their own thoughts. And so we all try to look for these outside things to bring us fulfillment, but that's something you have to find on the inside by putting in the work on yourself and actually taking out the mental trash, allowing yourself to process all the stuff that's been shoveled down for so many years. And eventually, like, you'll start to feel better and be okay just being yourself. And a great thing for this habit of changing what you do when you wake up and go to bed is just by placing a book and a journal next to your bed, so that instead of scrolling until you go to sleep, you leave your phone either on the counter or outside of your room. That's even better. That's a huge hack. And instead of going on your phone, maybe you journal a little bit. Just how did the day go? What did you do? What are you grateful for? And then read a little bit before going to sleep. And you can do the same thing when you wake up, or you can get out of bed, brush your teeth, do your thing. The best thing you can do in the morning is get outside, because it replenishes your dopamine and sets your circadian rhythms off for a good day and also a good night's sleep the next night. But the last thing that I want to end with on this video, you guys, is the slight edge. The slight edge that you get from making these small choices and small decisions over time that end up compounding when performed consistently to completely alter the change that you make as a human being. An example of this would be, take if you chose to eat an apple over a donut. You do it one time, it's not gonna make a difference on your health. You do it twice, still not much of a difference. But if every single day over 10 years you choose to eat an apple instead of a donut, you are going to be the picture of health rather than what you would have been had you chosen to eat the donuts all of those times, where you would probably not be feeling so great, not feeling good about yourself. You would have mental fog from eating all that sugar and carbs in the moment. But this applies to so many other things too, like just putting your phone down instead of picking it up, reading instead of scrolling social media, meditating instead of whatever else you do in your time. It does make a huge difference, you guys. And when I first started implementing these habits, it was really hard. I felt a constant draw to check my phone all the time to see what I was missing. But the more and more I practiced it, the easier it became. The easy hard principle. Check out my other video about that if you want. And the more I realized I'm not missing anything, and my life became so much more fulfilled, and I had so much more control over my mind once I broke out of these cycles and began to work on myself and look inward rather than look outward. And I really hope that you guys can find the same. If you guys stay to this point in the video, I appreciate that a lot. Like, I really do. It means a lot to me. Leave a comment down below if this meant anything to you. Like, subscribe. It helps with the algorithm to help more people see this. It's not always what people want to hear, but I think it is what people need to hear. And the more and more people that can start doing what they need instead of what they want, the better the world is going to be. And I hope you guys can help with that in your own way. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.